Good morning. I would like to introduce Jennifer Horn, who has a very special Christmas song for you.
We cannot tell, we do not know what star shone down so long ago, when Mary birthed her own sweet son, and peace and love became as one. The Son of God, as Scripture said, was virgin born in a tiny shed, where simple shepherds stood hard by, while heavenly sound filled up the sky. Now let us stand uncovered all before this crashing lonely stall, where kings and angels dignify God's gift, His Son, in humility. We do not know, we cannot tell what songs were sung, what starlight fell, or why the holy mystery stands for so many years in so many lands. We cannot tell, we do not know what star shone down so long ago, when Mary birthed her own sweet son, and peace and love became as one.
We appreciate that. Good morning. Welcome to Riverbend United Church, whether you are here in the room or watching on screen. We are glad you're here. No matter what, you are welcome here. This fourth Sunday in Advent is special this morning for us. We will be led in a carol sing by the choir, and we will be led in the Christmas story by our children and youth. So I've been looking forward to this service, and I am glad you are here. Thank you to everyone who brought cookies for the Riverbend RUC's program this weekend. We appreciate that. And Christine's going to say something about that. And as she comes, just a reminder that our Blue Christmas service is today at 3 o'clock. For those for whom joy is elusive this year, come at 3 o'clock here in the sanctuary for a calming, still service to remember those we've lost, light a candle in their memory, and dig in to find the healing and hope of God.
Good morning. Just a quick announcement. Today we'll see the children act out the Christmas miracle, but we also witnessed a bit of a Christmas miracle yesterday as the turkey team gathered to prepare the boxes of cookies that went with boxes of oranges and grocery gift cards to 97 households in the Riverbend RUC's community area. We had originally thought we'd like to put about 18 cookies in the box, and we looked at the huge number of cookies laid out in the boardroom and thought, well, we'll start with 24 in each box. So we put them all out, made actually 110 boxes, and then realized we still have cookies left over. So then we went around again, and another dozen in every box. So there was 3 dozen cookies in each of 110 boxes. And so that was all thanks to your fantastic baking efforts. So thank you everybody who contributed. It was a really wonderful endeavor.
Thanks, Christine, and all involved in that. You've seen the socks and so forth going as well for our outreach ministries, and a lot of people have participated in that through financial contributions, etc. Details are in the bulletin. Thank you to everyone supporting those. I want to say, it hurts my heart, to be honest, that sorry, but we are full for Christmas Eve at 5 and 6:30 to capacity, which is a third fire capacity in the room for registrations. But please consider, if you haven't yet registered and want to come, please come at 8 p.m. There is still space available for that quieter service. We will still light candles and sing Silent Night and hear the Christmas story and sing carols. So that's 8 p.m. You can still pre-register for that. There's a clipboard in the back for that. And if you're at home, you can register online for that, riverbendunited.org. And if you have registered for 5 or 6:30 and you need to change the number of people you registered for, please call the church office and do that so that your space can be given to someone else this week. So that's just an FYI. At least we're together in some way this Christmas Eve. And remember, there is a live stream of the service at 5 p.m. for everyone. Let's open our hearts as we share in this fourth Sunday in Advent. Just before we celebrate the birth, we'll hear the story this morning.
Good morning. It's Carol Sing Day and Christmas Story Day. And I just thought we'd start things off with something that Pete Seeger said. He's a folk singer and a social activist, or was. He said, "If this world survives 100 years from now, It may well be because of people singing together. So let's begin and sing our first carol, Good Christian Friends Rejoice, that tells us to rejoice and sing. Oh no, I didn't. I was thinking it was a candle lighting. We're good with this carol, thank you. Candles.
During Advent, Christ is our light and the source of everlasting love. Advent calls us to love others with patience and kindness. Christ is our light and the source of everlasting love. Advent calls us to be slow to anger and quick to forgive. Christ is our light and the source of everlasting love. Advent reminds us that Christ commanded us to love as he loved. Christ is our light and the source of everlasting love. We light 4 candles, the candles of hope, peace, joy, and today's candle, love. This candle reminds us that God so loved the world that he sent his only Son, so that whoever believes in him should not perish but have life everlasting. Today we celebrate God's gift of love and remember that we have been commanded to love others as God loves us.
Hey, in 1865, I have a few little tidbits for our carols, in case you hadn't noticed. In 1865, Philip Brooks, an Episcopalian clergyman from Massachusetts, visited Bethlehem. 2 years later, that visit inspired him to write the poem that we sing, and he wrote that in 1867. And this carol, O Little Town of Bethlehem, sets the scene really well for our Christmas story that is going to be presented by our youth and younger kids. And the name of their presentation is Journeying to Bethlehem. So please join us. You can remain seated for this one. Please join us for 2 verses of O Little Town of Bethlehem.
So what do you have there, Adelaide?
A candy cane.
Oh, a candy cane. Do you know why we put candy canes on the Christmas tree? It's okay, I have it written here, it's fine. We put candy canes on our Christmas tree to remind us of the shepherds who came to visit baby Jesus. Now, instead of telling you about the shepherds who came to visit baby Jesus, why don't we show you the Christmas story?
They were very happy and excited that their baby would soon be born.
Then a message came. It said that all people had to go to...
Hey guys, a little technical difficulty. Okay, we're going to start over. Okay.
Mary and Joseph were going to have a baby. Mary had been busy making baby clothes. Joseph was a carpenter, so he made a beautiful wooden cradle. They were very happy and excited that their baby would soon be born.
Then a message came. It said that all people had to go to the town where they were born to be counted and pay a tax. That meant Mary and Joseph would have to travel far from their home to Bethlehem.
With such a long trip to make, they had to leave behind the beautiful cradle and many of the soft baby clothes. They walked and walked for many days.
When they arrived in Bethlehem, they were very tired. Joseph went to the inn to ask for a room where they could sleep. All the rooms were full. Joseph was very sad. What could they do? One of the men saw how sad Joseph looked and how tired Mary was. He said they could sleep in his barn.
Mary and Joseph were thankful. They didn't mind sharing the barn with all the animals. They soon found a corner and spread out their blankets. They lay on the straw and pulled out the blankets over them. It was quiet. Mary and Joseph were warm and dry. That night, Mary's baby was born.
Mary and Joseph were happy that their baby had come. The cradle that Joseph made was not there, but Joseph found a manger filled with hay for the animals. "This will make a good bed for our baby Jesus," he said. Mary lovingly wrapped baby Jesus in strips of special cloth and laid him down to sleep.
Not far away, out on a hillside, there were some shepherds looking after their sheep. Suddenly, there was a bright light. Angel messengers sang a song of good news. In Bethlehem, a special baby was born. He is God's son, and he will save the people. That's what the angels sang.
The shepherds also journeyed into Bethlehem. They found Mary and Joseph and little baby Jesus, who was lying in a manger, just as the angels said. Then the shepherds returned home, thanking God for this wonderful night and all God's love. The end.
Away in a manger, no crib nor a bed, the little Lord Jesus laid down his sweet head. The stars in the sky
That was fabulous. Wow, very impressed. Everyone played their part just perfectly. Yeah, very cool. So we're going to continue kind of celebrating here after that wonderful presentation and sing a few more carols. I just kind of made a list of things that maybe we hadn't sung, that we're not going to sing on Christmas Eve, and maybe that we get to sing less often. And but some good old standards as well. One Sunday in 1719, a young Isaac Watts apparently complained to his minister father that the hymns they sang in church, particularly the lyrics, were not very good. So his dad challenged him to do better, and I guess he had this piece for the next Sunday, and he wrote hundreds more. And the song I'm talking about is Joy to the World. It's number 59, but the words should be on the screen. We can remain seated for a while as we sing, just sort of sit up and sing out, and we're going to do verses 1 and 4. Okay, Go Tell It on the Mountain is next on my list. It's an African-American spiritual dating back to at least 1865. And it's, of course, been sung and recorded by many gospel and secular performers, as well as in church. And it's one of these carols, we consider it a carol, but it's not in the traditional carol form that most of our carols came from England or France, around, in Europe in the 1800s. But we call this one a Christmas carol, I think, because it's so popular. And of course, the original lyrics celebrate the nativity of Jesus. And we're just going to have to wait until next year to hear that famous bass line. Marv, we're going to miss your bass line that used to bring us into that super fast chorus. We're just going to sort of sing it in a traditional way and bring back the ensemble. Hopefully, fingers crossed, next year. Go Tell It on the Mountain. Let's hear it.
Jesus
verses are 3. That looks like we ran out of words, so we'll just do 2. All right. As you may or may not have noticed, I'm not sure, but the carols were usually written by one person, and then the melody was written by another person. And I was thinking you may have noticed it before, because in the hymnal, at the bottom of the page, there's usually a title for the tune. And sometimes that tune appears for different hymns that we know. So it was the tradition, maybe somebody would write a poem and not even meet the person that wrote the lyrics, and maybe write it in the time with the same timing of that melody that they had heard before. And sometimes they would even actually interchange lyrics, and the lyrics as well as the tune. And next up on our lineup, if I'm not mistaken, is Angels from the Realms of Glory. That's what you've got. Okay. So we have the tune that's in the hymnal is the one that we sing all the time. But in England, it became very popular to sing these same lyrics to Angels We Have Heard on High, with the Gloria part in it. And so they would even mix up the two and sing the words to Angels from the Realms of Glory, and insert, instead of singing the Come and Worship part, they would sing the Gloria part. And so I don't know if that's still popular in that version or not. We're not going to try that, though. We're just going to sing Angels from the Realms of Glory. And then the choir has a little bit of a special version of Angels We Have Heard on High. Okay, here's Angels from the Realms of Glory. So I found this arrangement of Angels We Have Heard on High quite a number of years ago, and we don't often get a chance to do kind of a jazzy version of things. And this tune it just flows along really nicely. It has a little bit of a jazz accompaniment that's played so well by Sherry. And the really interesting thing about it is that it's in 5/4 time, which means instead of having like 1, 2, 3, 4, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is kind of a standard thing, and I think we can keep track of it, right? So here's our shot at Angels We Have Heard on High in 5/4. Oh. Okay. Next on our list is Still, 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 so a little bit of a contrast. This is an Austrian Christmas carol and a lullaby. We'll sing a couple verses of Still, Still, Still. Nice, such a pretty one. But I think we'll change things up just a little bit. I threw in one, let me make sure I've got this next on my list. Oh yes, I remembered correctly. This is one I knew that our pageant cast has remained upstairs today. And so I thought we should get them involved a little bit with a song that they know particularly well. It's kind of a peppy one. This is Jingle Bells. So, a long time ago, you may have arrived in church in your sleigh, jingling, jingling, jingling. The original title of this song was One Horse Open Sleigh, and it was put together in 1857 in a Sunday school program for Thanksgiving in a church in Boston. So it's come a long way. Just an added note, I threw this in. Pierpont, who wrote it, served with the Confederate cavalry in the American Civil War and was the uncle of financier J.P. Morgan. That's just a little internet tidbit. Okay, so I brought some stuff. Can you guess what they are? Okay. Now I just need to set up, and we need some big singing for this. We're gonna sing a chorus first, and then we're going to sing the Dashing Through the Snow verse, and then we're gonna follow it by the chorus, and we're going to be accompanied by our fabulous cast here playing Jingle Bells. Okay, are we ready? And then we're going to start. Watch me and I'll cue you. So, nice and happy. Excellent. And did you, oh, one more, playing from her seat. We had a little choreography to that too, did you notice that? That was excellent. All right, I've only got a couple more planned, but maybe we can throw in an extra if we need it. I wasn't sure how long it's going to take us to sing through all these. I saw 3 ships. It was commemorated on a British postage stamp, which is interesting, but actually I love, do you guys look at your postage stamps? Yeah, collecting. I have a whole collection myself from years ago. Anyway, I digress. Nobody really knows what this song is exactly about, and the lyrics would change from place to place anyway, kind of trying to pull in local lore. So I'm not exactly sure where the version that we're going to sing came from, but this was the weirdest one I got. It says, it may refer to the arrival in Cologne in 1162 of the bodies of the 3 wise men after Holy Roman Emperor Frederick Barbarossa razed the city of Milan. In another place it said the skulls of the 3 wise men. Okay, and this is, it was where they were raised in Milan, then that's where the remains of the Magi had rested. Anyway, it was the song, and there's many other versions. Excuse me. It was first published in 1666. And one of the tunes, as I mentioned, that we don't always sing the same words to the same tune, As I Sat on a Sunny Bank, which is just a folk song. So let's do our best for a couple of versions of I Saw 3 Ships. How many verses I gave Carolyn to put up on the slide, so I'm sort of reading. Alrighty. Yeah, there's about a bazillion verses to that. I thought 3 would do. Okay, and this next one is the final one that's on our list, but we'll probably sing a couple more after this because we have just, maybe one more. We have a little bit of time. Hark the Herald Angels Sing. This is one of the great 4 and hymns that were widely popular in the Anglican and other Protestant churches during the 19th century. And somebody took a survey. They surveyed 52 hymnals from various churches around, and 4 songs made it into 51 out of the 52. And that list is All Praise to Thee, My God, This Night, Hark the Herald Angels Sing, Lo, He Comes with Clouds Descending, and of course, Rock of Ages, Cleft for Me. Those are the big 4. So we're going to sing one of the big 4. Maybe...
Joyful
Should I switch mics? That's the handheld Sennheiser. Trying the other one. Check, check. So, check. Psst. I'll just speak right into it like this. I just want to say thank you to Paula Roberts, our amazing music director, and Sherry Steele, our puppets, and all you lovely choir members. Thank you very much. And also, of course, Crystal Manuel. When did you just stand? Don't take a bow. They're not going to clap yet, but stand. Crystal Manuel. No, don't clap yet. Luke. Hold your applause for a second. Stay standing. Luke Nelson and Madison Prairie. Where's Madison? Crystal's our children's director. Madison and Luke are our youth co-directors. And then all you kids and youth, if you can stand, we just want to say thank you to all of you. As able, Michelle. Yes, good. So, very much appreciated, and we go into this last week of Advent filled with the spirit of the story that you all have brought, the story of the miracle that God is here among us in human form as a tiny babe. So have a blessed week this week, and we go in the peace of the Christ. And may the peace of the Christ go with us as we sing our final benediction hymn. Sorry, Sherry, I'm just going to interrupt you 1 second. I apologize. But I also wanted to say thank you to Ray Harlech and Taya and Nathan, our AV team. They have such a difficult job trying to balance sound in the room with all these mics and sound for you folks on the stream. And thank you all three very much. And peace to you all on the stream as well. Thanks for checking in. We see that you're there, and we know there are others of you who didn't sign in. But peace to all, and let's sing together.
We're done? Okay.